Question for you. Are you doing everything that you could possibly be doing to be able to hit the goals and the desires that you want in life? So this morning, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was basically answered every inbox message on my Facebook page. And then I sat there dreaming and dreaming and dreaming and dreaming, not dreaming, sleeping, but dreaming and thinking about all the things that I'm working on. And then my husband woke up at about, I don't know, 4:30 this morning, and we started talking about the different aspirations and dreams that are going on in both of our space. And I said to him, I think I need more fire. And he's like, no, Shanda, you don't need more fire. You need to keep focusing on the little areas in your business that you create little tweaks on to be able to create a massive difference. And it got me thinking, and I thought to myself, well, first and foremost, it's not about us, beating ourselves up to be able to grow our businesses or create insane dreams in our life, but it is about us being self-managed, right? You get an idea, you get excited about that idea, you start going after that idea, and then before you know it, you hit a wall. And you hit that wall and you have a choice. And the choice is, do you beat yourself up? Or let me just say it in a more conscious way, because some of us don't beat ourselves up anymore. We've passed that mark. And some of us just sit there and go, shit, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not doing enough. And the pressure starts to come in, right? And when pressure starts to come in, it either fires you up and you rock it out, or it causes you to hide, pull back, and feel bad about things. And so I wanted to take a few moments today and just ask you and have you look inside of the last 24 hours of your life. If you have a paper and pen, that would be great to grab right now. And just write down, what have you accomplished in the last 24 hours? Like, what have you really accomplished? And just start writing that down for yourself. In the last 24 hours, I've done a webinar. I've done 3 meetings, a VIP day. I've fed my son. My son peed all over the floor and I gave him a bath. I watched a movie with my son. I cuddled and played. I FaceTimed with my mom. I had an argument with my mom that was horrible. Not really an argument, but she got sad about something. And yeah, and then I stopped work at 4 o'clock, and I felt the pressure of wanting to get back on my computer, not necessarily even to work, but I'm like so addicted. Are you guys so addicted? I'm so addicted to just shopping online or cruising Facebook or Instagram. It's like I was sitting on the couch and I almost opened up Instagram to start playing around on Instagram when I was with my son. I was like, eh. So that's what I've done the last 24 hours, and those are some of my awareness moments. And you can see that a lot of things got accomplished in 24 hours. But yet, if you allow your mind to focus on the gap of where you still have to go, you can't help but to feel lack. You can't help but to feel like, I could have done more. And so I do believe that we could accomplish more. I do believe that there's people that are accomplishing more than I'm accomplishing and accomplishing more than you're accomplishing. And the goal is to find that person that's on your next level that you want and pace against that person and look to model a knowing that you can do it too, but you're going to have to do it differently. So I look at women who have 4 or 5 kids that run businesses that are way bigger than mine and have really good marriages. And that's why I'm really into Sarah Blakely and Jesse Itzler, right? They live really big lives. They're both billionaires. They have 4 kids and they have a really active life. And he's also in endurance. And they're traveling all the time. If they can make it work, then I could make it work. And so I think that the game, in my opinion, is to have good people around you, but to also make sure that you're not staring at the gap that you're trying to close. You're actually trying to look behind you and see how far have I come. And if you can look behind you and notice how far you've come, then what happens is you start to build up this momentum that you really can do it. And then these goals that you have that are awesome get to be realized because your mindset is not on the problem. The problem is just the next test or the next wall you're jumping over, but it's actually on how great you are. So confidence isn't built, in my opinion, by wishing it in. It's built by you realizing how great you are. And the minute you realize how great you are, you have an instant shift. When you have that instant shift, it's your job to maintain that balance inside your head. And I don't mean balance as in like I don't think life is very balanced. I guess that's what I can say. Like, at least I haven't figured that out, and I haven't had a billionaire tell me yet that they're balanced, right? It's like, here's the priority right now, and I'm going after that. Here's the priority right now, and then I'm doing that. Here's the family right now, I'm doing that really well. But they're doing their best in every area that they can be. But what you'll notice is the mindset is always looking at how far they've come. And when they're focused on how far they've come, the power of that is that you really start picking up great momentum. So you're going to see a series of interviews that I'm going to do with very, very wealthy people. And I don't want you to think that you can't be them. I want you to think you can be them. And as they start coming out over the next few weeks, I want you to not look at them as an idol. I want you to look at them and start finding the similarities. I want you to find the similarities because they're just the same human beings that you and I are. The way they think is the reason why things have worked, right? Sure, you have to grab onto a good idea and run with it, for sure. Sure, you have to learn marketing if you're in business, absolutely. But you don't need to learn a lot of marketing. You need to learn a lot of marketing inside your head, which means it is so much to do with how you think. My friend Bedros, who I had on a few weeks ago, he owns Fit Body Boot Camp, multiple 8-figure company. And we talk about my masterminds and how I lead my masterminds and what I'm doing. And he literally is like, I don't know how you teach so much. He's like, I'm like the mindset guy. Like, he's like, I've developed all of this because of mindset. And I'm telling you, everybody that I talk to that is crushing it financially, they actually don't know a ton. They just know one thing really well. And then they've spent the rest of their time working on their mindset. And so being a part of a community that has a leader in it that really gets this piece and isn't constantly flipping around with different strategies or ideas and all over the board, but somebody that can actually be all over the board in one area and really build that out, and somebody who is really healthy inside their mind and will be honest with you about where you're falling short and where you're really great, get into that community and stay in there. Hopefully you've already found it, right? But your mindset is such a critical piece for you winning. Ash and I were talking about a past client that I just adore, and she showed up in our community, and I honestly thought she was going to be one of the top 1%ers. She was pretty dormant for a long time, meaning that barely knew she even existed. In fact, I didn't know her name for a year. And then finally I got to know her because she started showing up in a contest that we run. I was like, wow, this woman is powerful. Like, she's showing up and she's like leading this contest. Like, where did this underdog come from? And I started to see her. And when you start to win anything in life, people start to see. When you start to win in your marriage, when you start to win with your friends, when you start to win, people start to take notice. Right? So the point in life is not to survive or just get by. It's actually to win. And who you become in the process of winning is who you actually want to be. But you never get to find the zone unless you actually make the intention to win something. And by the way, none of us know if we can win. By the way, none of us have any idea if we've got what it takes to get there. But when you make your focus to win, what happens is you actually find a piece of you that you never knew existed. So this client of mine, she's not a client anymore. She left the community, and she left sadly because she spiked and then she went down And then what happened was she went through a relationship breakup, and she she separated from a relationship that was not working anymore. And she kind of lost her momentum. And instead of staying in the community and helping her and infusing her mindset with the people to be able to get back ahead, what she did is she did what the Bible talks about not doing. She went off as a lone sheep by herself. And when that happens, I'm not saying that she's not still has great ambition and she's trying to make it. She is. I know she is because I've heard. But the thing is she's actually alone. And the thoughts that come in your head when you're alone trying to do it on the other side of that computer, the other side of the phone, the other side of the computer, when you're in that space in your home alone, that is a dangerous place to be. Because the minute you hit those walls, willpower is inconsistent. And I say this all the time. I have a big event coming up called the Zone Event, end of September. And I'm going to teach these strategies, and I'm going to teach the marketing strategies that the only people who will actually apply them will be the people that can manage their minds. That's why at the event, I do everything I can to actually stretch people so they're super uncomfortable at the event so that people make money at the event. If I can get you to make money in 3 days at the event, I break a new paradigm in your mind. When I break that new paradigm in your mind, you start to know that it's possible. And then you're around a group of people that will actually show you it's possible, because I can show you success story after success story after success story of people going from daddy paying for them to 6 figures, from $350,000 in debt to $200,000 in 10 months, right? To having your power turned off, your car repossessed, to retiring your husband, right? Like I can show you tons of stories like that inside of our community. And I deliver the information, but how they use it has everything to do with what's going on up here. So if you're breaking down in your mind right now, you have to do a couple things. You got to get out and run, get out and walk or run, get out there and physically move your body. I don't care if you don't like it. I didn't like it before either. Building a person, building your person requires you to get uncomfortable. I don't like doing anything that I'm not good at. Neither do you. I mean, come on. The only passion comes and gets ignited from things that we're great at. All of this stuff that all these books that are written around this conversation of let me figure out how to find your passion. And if you teach this, I'm sorry, I'm going to insult you right now. But the truth is that that's bullshit. Because we don't feel great about anything until we're passionate about it. And I can show you story after story after story after story around this concept, right? Passion gets ignited when we know what we're doing and we're excited about it. It doesn't get ignited when we run into the stretch. I'll give you a perfect example. How many times have you come up with a great idea and you'd be like, yes, I got it, this is it, this is the thing I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, I'm so excited. And then boom, things start to happen, and all of a sudden your commitment changes and you're like, I don't know if I really want this anymore. I mean, I see this all the time. I think one of the best things that my community helps people do is hold your feet to the fire so you stay in it long enough to succeed. If you've started a bunch of things and never really finished at a high level, like a breakthrough level, then honestly, you have that pattern going on. You need a group of people to hold your feet to the fire so that no matter how you feel, you still do it anyway, right? So know that passion comes when you get good. So if you want passion, it's been eluding you for your whole life, you just haven't gotten really good at something yet, right? And really good at something that means something to you. So it's one thing to be really good at something that doesn't mean anything to you. But when you get really good at something that means something to you, passion ignites. So I've always been driven. I've always been ambitious, but I have not always been passionate. And that's because I spent much of my life starting new things and quitting on myself. Until I found hardcore business and developed this company and did the well-deserved walk of shame, guilt, self-beat up, sticking with it even though I didn't feel like it, and then broke through to the other side, that's when I felt the passion. And so I share this with you because I don't want you to beat yourself up. I want you to manage what's going on between your ears today. A couple days ago, I did a Facebook Live on look at where you're hesitating, and wherever you're hesitating for the next 30 days, take action in the area that you hesitate. So wherever, if you hesitate in saying something, recommit and say it. If you hesitate in going to work out, recommit and go work out. And in fact, if you're not working out, go work out, right? If you want things to move, physically move your body. When you physically move your body, everything starts to up level. Your vibration changes, your thoughts change, your stress level reduces, and you start to become more stealth. If you're not training, you're actually really sadly leaving a piece of personal power off the table. And that's really all I wanted to talk to you about today. I just wanted to put that in your mind. I just wanted to just share with you a little bit about how you're thinking about things, and just say that I could give you a million business strategies. And I'm happy to, I've got about another 4 minutes. If you want to ask me a business strategy, I will answer somebody's business strategy on the comments thread. But I'm going to tell you that it doesn't matter what advice I give you. If you're not looking behind you and seeing what you've accomplished over the last quarter or 24 hours, then you're going to find a hard time picking up your momentum, because you'll always be focusing on the gap. Entrepreneurs and ambitious people always focus on what they still have to do, and that is a problem. Okay, so you can't focus on what you still have to do. You have to put your focus on the present moment, and when you track yourself and look at your progress, you need to look behind you. And that's the only way you're going to be able to develop a low stress, high power position as far as building out your business. Okay, so any questions, you guys? Okay. Devorah, running first thing this morning because I've been hesitating and missing a few runs. That's awesome. I'm curious curious how the coaching applies to building an interior design business. Ariel, you need to give me more details on that. So right now I am coaching somebody else who has an interior design company, and we have built out a funnel. So she has a product that she sells from a webinar that allows her to do some work virtually for people. And then she goes into a product that she actually redesigns people's rooms. And by the way, she works in home and garden. I mean, she really is a great interior designer. And she also does feng shui, right? So, you know, it doesn't matter if you have a coaching company, a real estate company, a financial advisor company, you do network marketing, or you're an interior designer. Business is business is business. I mean, I did the same things in real estate that I'm doing in my coaching business to sell homes, a product, right? So you have to ask me a more specific question for me to be able to help you on that one. Kevin Young, how are you? Powerful. Move your body and move your mind. That's right. Alexis, coming up towards the end of my sales cycle, I have a couple more spots in my program. Do you suggest another webinar for a VIP day or a flash sale, or start my summit? So Alexis, lots of questions. You got your typical entrepreneur. We have a bunch of things on your mind. The question comes down to, what's your vision, right? Like, what do you need, Alexis? If you need cash right now, sell a VIP day, right? That's an intensive. You get cash in the door right now. You know, we have a fitness woman who literally she sells strength training, and I'm paraphrasing right now, but I think she took a stretch, and I think she sold 4 or 5 VIP days for the first time ever, and I think she sold them at like $3,000. I think, you know, and that was in a couple weeks. Like, so that would be a cash injection strategy, right? If your email list is low, right? This is something I kill myself with in the marketplace. If your email list is low, then you should focus on literally selling one thing just to complete, be in completion energy. And then you should right away get back into figuring out, and first of all, look behind you, look at the progress, and then look at where's the 1 or 2, not 3, 5, or 6, just 1 or 2 things that I could do a lot better in my next list build to build that audience again, right? Because if you focus on too many things, everything falls apart. So if small little tweaks as you change, this is why impatient people have a problem building a business, right? Small little tweaks actually create huge quantum leaps. Small little tweaks create huge quantum leaps. So look at what you need right now, and then that's where your vision gets created out of. Like, what do you need? What are you committed to creating? And then you back in your strategy to that. I'm not a really big believer in being in the rat race and just doing things just to be busy, right? So hope that helped, Alexis. Alicia, thank you. I do participate. Alicia, I actually responded to you on my inbox like this morning at 3:30 in the morning or something. I do a particular type of coaching that takes 4 to 6 months to take someone through a creative to create a lasting change. Is it better to change monthly or pay for the entire process? So first and foremost, the 4 to 6 months, you could do it either way. You could either finance it monthly. Like, I like selling my long-term programs monthly. Like, if you ever hear me sell like a program, it's $897 a month, right? Like I'm sharing like a monthly versus it's $11,000 for the year. And that comes out of my own belief system. And so much about sales comes from your own belief system, right? So this is why I always say, like, I don't have like the quick fix for you. You have to look into your belief system, but I have business models that will work well for you. And what I mean by that is that I sell monthly because I remember when I had nothing, and I did invest $21,000 when I had nothing, like I was losing everything. I borrowed the money. I found a little bit on a credit card. I enrolled somebody else to split the program with me and put it on their credit card. And then I got half the program that I wanted, only because of the fact that I needed to get something. A little bit was better than nothing, right? And so I sell monthly because it would have been easier for me to put my mind around that. Right? And so I just think low-hanging fruit, how can I make it easiest for someone to actually say yes, right? And so, however, I do have another program that we sell in personal development that we sell as like a chunk, right? We sell it for $3,700. However, I will finance that for people. And if I finance, it'll cost them a little bit more, $1,300 times 3, right? So, however, here's what I'll tell you. My personal development training is literally just for entrepreneurs to get them out of their own way. I'm actually not trying to get rich off of that. I create my wealth off mentorship programs, and that is where the money compounds. I get into financial freedom, into overflow, and I do my best to work with people where I can work with them long term. So even in the personal development, Alicia, like, if my clients do personal development, they get out of their own way, right? And then, but even in all of my coaching, I'm still influencing their minds constantly so that they get better results, right? So I just don't think that short programs work long-term forever. So sell the short-term program, but I want you to think about like not a maintenance program, because maintenance programs mean you're phasing yourself out. And that's not what you're trying to do. But what's the next level program, right? After they've done a 4 or 6 month work with you, an intensive, what would be the next program that they need? And I'm sure you could probably figure that out if you asked a few people you've worked with. What would have been valuable if you would have offered it to them? And that should be the next level, like long-term program to create like the overflow. Hope that helps. Amelia, is there a strategy to find out what you should be selling? What area? How do you get aware of that? Yes. So Amelia, when I started my business, I started it in 24 hours. And only because the person who was mailing their database only gave me 24 hours to come up with something. So the opportunity would have been gone if I didn't show up like a pro. So here's what I suggest. Ask yourself, what is the area you're obsessed with? Right? So for some of you guys who have been in a career for a long time, but you've lost that zest, you've lost that passion, right? What is the thing you're obsessed with? Like when I started my business, I was obsessed with making money, and I was obsessed with God. I was obsessed with spirituality and God. I was doing everything I could do to get closer to God. The first thing I said to Ash when he woke up this morning is I said, babe, I think I still need to get closer to God. Like I'm still obsessed. Like that fire's never gone away. The fire to make money and be close to God has never gone away. It just keeps getting stronger, right? And so instead of trying to create a product, Amelia, or anybody else, or a service that you think is going to make money, I just want to like close down your mind to all of the tactical trainings that are out there on the web right now that are telling you how to position a product or a service to make money. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some valuable information in it, right? There's some information that I completely agree with. But the come from at the beginning kind of fucks you. Excuse my language, but it does. It kind of fucks you. And the reason why it fucks you, I'm sorry that I'm swearing, but there's no better word to say it than that. The reason why it does that, screws you right over, is because you're starting from an intention to get. Have you ever been in front of someone that you know is just trying to sell you? Or you know that they haven't even spent enough time to listen to you, that how could they possibly know that their product is the best product for you to get to where you want to be, right? Like you can tell, right? They haven't asked enough questions. So the marketplace can tell when you're positioning a product to get. So Amelia, what are you obsessed with? Because I'm going to tell you, I can create any business for anybody around an area that you love. I find it really hard. I mean, I can see rock stars in my community right now that haven't popped because or some of them have made like $300,000 and they make that a year, but like they're $1 million players, but they still can't hit the $1 million because they're so stressed out all the time because they're like working so hard to get ahead because they're not really selling anything that they love. I mean, they love it sometimes, right? If their mood's in the right mood, but they're really not obsessed with it, right? So first of all, ask yourself, what are you obsessed about? And then you pinpoint in that obsession, I guarantee you, you have mastered something. And this is where personal development comes into play, and your money never exceeds your personal development. And that is that you have to be okay with the fact that that's good enough and that you can make millions of dollars with just that thing. That little thing that you don't think is that valuable because somehow you maybe haven't been as consistent enough with it in your life, or like you still see the gap versus looking at what's behind you and everything you've accomplished with that thing, right? You still have an expectation that that thing that you've been obsessed with should have performed better for you already in your life, and you're still looking at that gap and nothing's ever good enough, right? Start looking behind you. What is that thing that you've really mastered and you've been obsessed with that's actually provided you something really valuable in life? Like you consider it really valuable. Well, that's the thing that you need to create a business around. That's the thing that you need to create a product around. And I give everybody a stretch that's watching this right now that doesn't have a product or service to create one in the next 24 hours. Create one in the next 24 hours. I'm going to tell you, success loves preparation. And if you create it, an opportunity will come in front of you. And here's what I'll tell you. If you could create it and you send me an inbox in my Facebook or my Instagram, I will show you how to get a huge audience around that product that will buy from you. Okay, so I'll stop there. God bless you guys. If you have not bought your tickets to the Zone event, I'm going to recommend you do that. It's coming up end of September. I will be teaching these strategies on steroids. You will be making money, hopefully, in the room. And it really is a tipping point for a lot of people to get out of struggle and to get into overflow. And that's what I'm up to. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you soon. Share this Facebook Live. See me on Monday, and I'll be back at 6 a.m. on Monday. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon.